game sucks. Yeah, it does. Come on. If there's ever a gimme, this has got to be it, right? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is a hated gem. Wow, Back to the Future. Not a game I ever expected to cover on this channel, especially not for this series. But after playing it on New Gamer with my wife and seeing how much she enjoyed it, I just had to give it a shot. And I'm glad I did. For years, we hear how bad this game is, mostly because if you look at it as a game based on Back to the Future, it is pretty terrible.
Yes, Luke, you're terrible in games.
Who are you?
I'm Shadow Lucious.
No, you're not.
Whatever. You call yourself something else every other show, LT.
Well, be that as it may, he's a guy.
Wow, a guy. How dare you? I'm a strong, independent Shadow, and you're just a closet misogynist.
Whoa, 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 whoa. I mean, I'm just wondering where the guy I've been working with for the last 5 years went.
Well, it's a new decade, and we needed an upgrade. You only have 3% female viewership.
What do you expect? I'm not doing makeup tutorials here. Not a lot of girls are interested in games that came out in the 80s.
I don't need your mansplaining, you beta cuck. They just need representation. Congrats, you're going woke, baby.
Well, anyways, if you look at it as a game, especially as an NES game, maybe it's a little bit better than we thought. So it's broken down into essentially 4 sections. You have the street section, you have 4 of those. You have the first one, second one, third one, fourth one. And between that, you have 4 different mini games. You have the cafe, you have the school, you have the ball, and then you have the final drive off to get Back to the Future. And how does it stack up? You know what? It is pretty enjoyable. After we figured out how the game works, the fact that you have a timer that starts at 200 seconds and slowly counts down, and then you have your picture that slowly fades away, so you need to get the clocks to keep that picture preserved, and the picture progresses through each section of the street section until you get to the minigame, at which point it resets. So if you get to the end of a level, you have 4 seconds left, but your picture's almost gone. You better hope that you can get some clocks, or else you're going to lose a life right there. You start with 4 lives. It is possible to get more lives. Every 30,000 points gives you a free guy, which seems impossible at first, but there actually is quite a few ways to get points. Chiefly is how the game's supposed to be played. You walk in the sections and you jump, but you don't realize that you're supposed to get the bowling ball. So the longer you go without getting knocked down, you can get a bowling ball. Once you get the bowling ball, you can then attack the enemies. It doesn't run out. The pigeons give you 500 points. The other guys give you 200, 300, 100 points, stuff like that. Once you find the skateboard, after you have the bowling ball, you can then go through the levels a lot faster. And the longer you stay on the skateboard, you then start getting bowling ball pins that show up that you can then get 500 points from. And another little secret is that once you get to the end of the level, if you jump, you can get between 1 and 900 points depending on how high your jump is at the end of the level. Just little secrets like that are really cool. And each section gets progressively harder. So the streets in section 1, you can fall down 3 to 4 times. The pigeons do 1 round and then go away. The guys who pursue you, the Frederico gets you and has his way with you.
Good to see you're finally open to receiving what Frederico's offering.
He'll shoot a few butterflies. The hula girls shoot 1 to 2 butterflies, but not too bad. Pretty easy to avoid. And even if you do get knocked down, you have plenty of time to get to the end. Once you get knocked down, though, bear in mind you lose your bowling ball, you'll lose your skateboard, and any clocks on the screen you lose. All the enemies go away too, but still, it's not something you want to do. You lose a lot of time. Now, once you get to the second section, it gets a little faster as far as the timer counts down. The streets turn yellow, you get a few new obstacles, there's a fence that goes all the way where you have to go all the way to the edge, pigeons start doing an extra go-around, you get a couple more butterflies, third section keeps going more, and then finally you get to the 4th section, which is by far the hardest, where the clock is ticking down so fast, the pigeons are doing figure 8s to catch you, that pretty much, if you're not on the skateboard, it is very hard to get to the end of the level. You can't get there on foot. If you fall down once or twice, you're done. But even more importantly, if you don't get the skateboard, it's impossible to get to the end of the level. And that kind of difficulty progression is actually pretty enjoyable. And in between each one of these walking sections, you have the mini games. Now, the cafe at first seemed overwhelming. You have to kill how many of these bullies to get out? I thought it was like, oh my god, 30, 40, still not going. You have to get over 50 of them. But you have a few things to help you. You have the lady who comes with the pie, you don't have to worry about hitting her. You can use a one-time screen clearing button push. I think it's B button that kills everyone. At least I think you only get one of them. And at a certain point, the bullies start throwing pie at you. So if you can know that, you can avoid it and then throw the malts at them to get them to go away.
Oh, you like to go to the malt shop, do you? Does your milkshake bring all the boys to the yard?
And there's only 6 positions they can be in. And generally, they will move in a position that's next to you. So if you're in position 3, next guy comes at 4, next guy comes back at 3. I mean, it's not always exactly like that, but you'll get a feel for it. So I actually did manage to get all 100 of them once. And then the second section being the school, that one I think I found a lot harder than that. Probably the hardest of any of the sections, because the hearts come at you so fast, and unlike the other one where you have 6 positions where you have to throw it on that position, this one you have, I think, 5 positions, but you can catch 2 of the different positions with your book. So you can be on section 1 and still catch 1 and 2's hearts. But if you have one come from 3, you got to move up. And they usually will come in one at a time or then streaks of 2. So you really just got to get into that mindset where you just don't see anything. The hearts are coming at you. You let them come. Then you keep going. You keep pushing through it.
Oh, you would block hearts coming from a young, attractive female now, wouldn't you, Lucius?
And that was probably the most heart-pumping part of the whole game. Pun intended. I finally got past it at 77. I did the whole 100 at one point, and you get a lot of points if you keep going on those sections. So that's how you can get those free lives. Section 3, that's when it starts getting a little faster. You have the orange streets. It's not that hard to avoid. Also, a little trick if you're on the skateboard. You can stick to the bottom right corner or the bottom left corner, and when the pigeons come, they'll do their natural attack and they just go off screen. So if they go off the screens on the side, you're good. Sometimes if they go off screen at the bottom, they'll still come back up and hit you because the stats bar screen isn't technically off screen, they're just hidden behind it. But if you can get them off screens, that's the ticket right there. And when you have the skateboard, you can jump farther.
You really like to ride that skateboard, huh, Lucius? Just like how you like to ride Federico. Oh.
So you can jump some of those obstacles, get on the ground. Every once in a while, they'll put the skateboard in an awkward position, just like the bowling ball, so it makes more sense to just avoid it, because another one is coming. It's a progression. You get the bowling ball, you get the skateboard, you get on the skateboard, and then you get the pins, you can throw it out. The ball section, where you have to catch the notes, that one was probably the easiest, even though the sharps you can't see, so you gotta catch 3 notes. Sharps, you gotta raise your guitar and face the right direction. Notes, you gotta have it in the middle. And flats, you gotta keep it on the bottom. And then they'll come fast and furious, so you gotta change. The worst is when you go from flats to sharps, because you gotta go through 3 different movement progressions. But really, by far the easiest. I think I got through it in my second attempt, and that was before I knew how it worked. Because like, he can go down, he can go up, and you have to be in different positions to catch the different notes.
Wow, Lucius, didn't think you would beat that guitar level. Your wife told me the other night you're really bad with your fingers.
And then once you get past that, you get to section 4, and that's the aforementioned one where you can't make a mistake. You can't. I got there once with 3 lives. I died at the beginning, and I lost all 3 lives. I never even got to the final Back to the Future drive. That's how fast you can lose it in this section. It is very, very difficult. You gotta play perfect. The enemies are coming so quickly, and it's really exhilarating when you get by, but it's one of those heart-pumping, you feel it. And finally, you get to the final drive where you have to get up to 88 miles an hour, and you have to hit the bell tower right at the right time. And this section sucks so much because if you die, you get back to the beginning. You don't get a second try at this. It's one or done. And the way it happens is the lightning bolts come down and hit the ground and slow you down. So what you have to realize is that you can let go of the button, move around it, and not lose all your speed, because you lose a lot more speed if you hit it than if you just let go of the button. And even then, I barely beat it. And it's funny because my wife was watching me play, because she likes the game, and she's probably watching me play for 2 hours. I couldn't beat it. Finally, she's like, you know what, I gotta leave. I gotta do errands. I'm wasting my whole day off. So she leaves, and 5 minutes later, I literally beat the game. I literally beat the game, so that was kind of amusing.
Left your wife unsatisfied, eh? How typical, Lucius. How typical.
A very, if you can't tell, I liked it. I liked it a lot. Is it hated or is it a gem? I gotta say it's a gem. I think I like this more than Jaws even, just because it's so skill-based. And yeah, horrible game based on a movie, but so much fun. It's just like Cobra Triangle. Once you know how to play it and how to do it, it's a lot more fun. So yeah, is it a hate or a gem? It's a gem. I gotta say, I was wrong. And yeah, You might think I'm crazy, but seriously, give it a real shot. Don't just go in expecting a movie game. So yeah, Back to the Future. Pick it up. Play it. That's your homework. Oh wow, you actually like this game. Go figure. You're back now? Yeah, I lost a bet. Really? You know what? I don't have time for this. I'm out.